After a tough homestand against the Blue Jays and the Yankees, the Mariners made up for that after sweeping the San Diego Padres and winning the series against the Chicago White Sox thanks to a grand slam home run by Julio Rodriguez and a clutch 2-run home run by Leody Taveras. Now the Mariners will go on a possibly tough 4-game series against our arch nemesis, the Houston Astros. This time, George Kirby is back and will make his season debut for the Mariners. How will Kirby do? We will find out. Mariners, Astros, next. Good evening, everyone. This is the Rooftop Sports, and here I am for some Mariners baseball. And the biggest highlight of this game so far already is George Kirby is making his season debut after going through some shoulder and arm problems, but now he is good to go. He went through rehab, and he is getting the start. And it is fun facts to know about George Kirby is that he's actually 3-0 against the Houston Astros, as I did see it on the Root Sports app, or the stats. And let me see how he actually does against the Astros. He has a 2-0 record. Well, out of all of his starts, as he has started quite a bit with them, all I can say is the Mariners have never lost. George Kirby is 2-0 with an ERA of 1.55, 37 strikeouts, and 7 appearances versus the Astros. So pretty favorable opportunity for the Mariners to take advantage of that. But the question is, will he be 100%, especially since he just got back from rehab and he did lose some time due to injuries? But another scary thing that has also happened is that Julio Rodriguez is actually out due to an injury. He got a late game scratch, and we will not know until the post game. So our starting lineup for today will be J.P. Crawford, Jorge Polanco, Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena, Rowdy Tellez, Leody Taveras, Dylan Moore, Miles Mastroboni, and Ben Williamson. So that does make the lineup just a little bit thinner than what we have hoped. And for the Astros, they've got Jeremy Pena, Isaac Paredes, Jose Altuve, Yainer Diaz, Christian Walker, Caratini, Myers, Smith, and Dubon. So although the Astros are not exactly in their best start right now, I do expect this to be a very tough series for the Mariners. I really just do. Naturally, I do expect it to be a very tough series. And before this game starts, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as that will definitely help the channel, and also donate to the channel as well. As you can see, I'm enjoying some orange soda, just like good old Kel Mitchell. He would scream, "Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda." That's the feeling right there. And we got 7 minutes until this game begins. And another thing I do have, during commercial breaks, I will be playing All-Star Baseball 2000 for anyone that still remembers that game to this day. That is exactly what I'll be playing during commercial break. I'll be playing the Houston Astros game, the Mariners versus the Astros. Of course, I'll be playing the Mariners. It will be at the Astrodome. The Mariners offense, if I remembered in order what they had, their leadoff hitter was David Bell. Then it was Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner. It was on the N64 Jay Trident podcast. And you know what? Maybe I should just get that. You know what? Since you're here, might as well just get that going. I have the game already ready to go. So let's do it here. We have about a few minutes until the game begins. Here it is. This was a game from 1999. All right, there, Seattle Mariners versus Houston Astros going to be playing at the good old Astrodome. And for lineup changes, that's not my team. All right, come on. I just need a lineup change. It's not letting me. Oh, switch teams. So not the batting order necessarily. Carlos Guillen, I'm going to put in David Bell. A weird thing they did, they put Jay Buhner and David Segui at first base. Butch Husky's your right fielder, except he was left field. So Jay Buhner was first base in this game, which is weird. And speak of the devil, or speak of the angel, Jay Buhner is also in Houston right now, too. Perfect timing. Look at that lineup. David Bell, Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., Jay Buhner, David Segui, Russ Davis, Butch Husky, Dan Wilson, and Jamie Moyer as the pitcher. Instead, I am going to do something else. I am going to sub David Segui for their very own Edgar Martinez, obviously, because you just have to. Like, why wouldn't you? Be insane. And no, I'm not going to change positions on them. Batting order, Jay Buhner. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, a little bit better. I'm going to be playing as a rookie, obviously. Oh, Teresa K, new member. Thank you very much for joining that membership, and all of you follow suit, including you, Jay Trident Podcast. We work together. I'm entitled to your membership. But yeah, here's the game. This game was featuring Derek Jeter as the cover boy. Well, let's get this started. Here's David Bell. And here it is. And that's a foul ball. Game will be starting real soon. I thought I'd just change things up for commercial breaks, or while I'm waiting, might as well just play a video game. Oh, deep fly ball to right field. He makes the catch. It's all right. I got A-Rod to make up for it. Alex Rodriguez, yeah. Oh, don't pitch there. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, it's a base hit. Oh, you actually played this game, Jay Trent? Okay, next time we hang out, I'm bringing my N64 and we're gonna play this sucker together. Oh, yep, the big boy Ken Griffey Jr. Could I actually hit a home run? I don't know, but you know I'm going to try. And nope, that ain't doing it. Here's Edgar Martinez. Oh, he's gonna pitch there. This guy's actually smart. Nope. That's going to be out. I got Jamie Moyer as my starter. I should have put in Jeff Facero as my starter, but I'll put him in the bullpen. Because, I mean, I interviewed the guy, Jeff Facero. Oh, no. Catch. Nope. Hey, Jonathan's man. Looks like we got some activity. Funny thing is, I was about to do the Oklahoma City Thunder game, but because it's George Kirby's season debut, I just had to do the George Kirby. I did a poll, and basically everyone said do the George Kirby game. I guess no one cares about a Game 2 Western Conference NBA game, especially when the quality of the league has completely declined over the years. Right now, we got 2 minutes left until the game begins. Commercial break is still going on. There you go. Struck him out. Uh-oh, I got the dangerous Jeff Bagwell. If anyone remembers Jeff Bagwell, very short. Uh-oh, base hit. Okay, no. All right, good. Jay Buhner's arm that kept anyone from moving. Oh, looks like the game's about to begin, so I am going to have to switch to the Mariners game. So on commercial breaks, I will be doing a Mariners game. Maybe someday I'll do like MVP baseball, All-Star Baseball 2000, whatever. I don't know. Give me some game suggestions. Maybe the good old RBI baseball for the Nintendo, extra bases on the Game Boy Pocket. There's a lot of options for some baseball video gaming. I got a lot of that. But in case none of you are aware, Julio Rodriguez did get the scratch. He's not going to play. Looks like he's not feeling well. I don't know. It better be a simple cold, but he gets colds quite a bit. Kind of weird for Julio. Ooh, J.P. Crawford's batting average is down to 269. And the pitcher for today is going to be Lant McCullers Jr. Did I even add him on? Was he available in fantasy baseball? If he's not, I'm going to be very, very upset. Let's see if he was. Lance McCullers. He was already added by guess who? Jay Trident Podcast. Guess who added Lance McCullers on our baseball league? Take a guess who added him. Freaking fool. And now we are looking at the first pitch, and it's brought to you by SeatGeek. And now here is the first pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. And we are underway here at the Houston Stadium. Wonder if my friend Josh is going to show up. And now here is the next pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. J.P. Crawford is going to be at 2-0 so far. And now it's actually going to be 3-0. Actually, no, 4-0, which means J.P. Crawford gets the walk. Yeah, I missed quite a bit of it. Okay, fine. Since Jay Trident Podcast isn't exactly there to guess for it, it was actually Greg's great team. Yeah, that guy takes everyone. And now we've got Jorge Polanco up to the plate. It's good to see that J.P. Crawford drew the walk, and now Mariners can capitalize on that. Now here's Jorge Polanco up to the plate, batting .298. His batting average has dipped. Now this pitch, and that's going to be up high for a ball. Yeah, Jorge Polanco, he was off to a really hot, sizzling start in the month of April. And since then, he has struggled quite a bit. And I'll look up his splits for you as long as he's still batting. And now here is the 1-0 for Polanco, the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Yeah, it was April. He was batting .384. But in the month of May, he has been batting .176. So not exactly a good month for Jorge Polanco. He's got to pick that up. As we've got the 1-1 pitch to Jorge Polanco. Here it is. And that's going to be a ground ball foul. It's kind of crushing to see that Jorge Polanco is not doing too well. I really wanted him to succeed. I really did. And also, Teresa K, as you are one of our new members of the channel, and thank you very much for joining. Let me know how you like the content so far. And now we're at 1-2 for Polanco. And now here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball. And that nearly got away from Yainer Diaz. And now, actually, it's not Yainer Diaz. It's going to be Caratini as the catcher. Yeah, Teresa K, enjoy some of my exclusive content, including basically my fantasy sports diary and my softball diary. As now we're at 2-2 on Polanco. And now here's the 2-2 pitch. And a horrible swing and a miss, strike three. He like half-assed that swing. And now that is going to be 1 out. Did not like that swing. They're going to show the replay. Yeah, it's like he like half-assed the swing. It's almost like he was better off just check swinging. And Jay Trident Podcast, let me know if you have noticed that Twitter Messenger has completely just gone down. Now here's Cal Raleigh up to the plate. We got 1 out. He hit the home run yesterday to tie the game, which eventually led to the Mariners' victory, batting .249 with 16 home runs. The pitch, low for a ball. That kind of nearly hit him, and that is going to be ball 1 for Cal Raleigh. The current road trip so far for Cal Raleigh, batting .250, but he's made it up with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. And now Cal Raleigh is going to be waiting the pitch, and that is going to be a strike. Around the score, we got Greg's great team destroying Jay Trident Podcast. Nelson's team, the JBL headphones, is being absolutely destroyed. Other than that, it's a very close matchup as we're at 1-1 for Cal Raleigh. And the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. He did not like the pitch. I don't know if he would have gotten a good swing out of that. He certainly would have gotten the home run hit. And it looks like he is going for that home run as we are at 1-2 for the big dumper Cal Raleigh. Dan Wilson's being shown right now. And now the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Another strikeout for McCullers Jr. And now there is 2 outs. It looks like just by the vibe of this inning, this could be a rude awakening for the Mariners once again, just like when they were humbled against the Blue Jays at home and against the Yankees. So Mariners are going to have to figure out a way to really get it going, especially when you have Randy Arozarena, who went completely hitless in the White Sox series. And the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And that was the pitch to swing at. Of course, Randy Arozarena never swings at the good pitches. He will only swing at the bad pitches, and he'll take a stupid step back on when it's an obvious strike. And now the pitch to Randy, up high for a ball. Randy is 4 of 11 against the Houston Astros, including a grand slam home run that really did inspire the comeback effort to beat the Astros and win that series. Now we're at 1-1 for Randy, and now the pitch, and that is inside for a ball. Now we've got a 2-1 count. And I also want to see how Julio Rodriguez does against the Houston Astros. I'm going to look up those stats just to see how much we are really missing out on him. And now we've got a 2-1 pitch for Randy Arozarena coming along. And now the pitch, and that's going to be inside for a ball. Ball 3. We got a 3-1 count. And against the Houston Astros, Julio Rodriguez is a career .239 hitter with 6 home runs and 23 RBI. So he doesn't do that great. And now we're at 3-1. And now the pitch. And check swing. Did he go? I think he did. Nope, that's going to be ball 4. Take your base. It was a really stupid check swing, but he does get the walk. And now we got runners on first and second. It is 2 outs, and now it's going to be Rowdy Tellez, the man who is the definition of boom or bust, feast or famine, just like Mike Ford from the 2023 season, Seattle Mariners. Let's see what Rowdy Tellez can do. And in 13 minutes, the Thunder and the Timberwolves are about to be playing. I think I'm going to turn on that game as well. I want to see how that game is about. Now here is Rowdy Tellez. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. That is ball 1. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. The Thunder game is going to be on ESPN. As we're at 1-0. And now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. And Twitter Messenger is still down. It's pretty shocking to see Twitter Messenger just completely just falling off the rails. As now we're at 1-1. And now here is the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. That's going to be 2-1. Rowdy Tellez is working on a 2-1. Leody Taveras is going to be on deck. I don't think that's going to really amount to much. Then you got the struggling Dylan Moore. So this is a pretty weak lineup, if you ask me. As now we're at 2-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. We're at 2-2 for Rowdy Tellez. And in looking at my Mariners game so far, my goal for 100, I am now at, how many games am I at right now? I have fallen off quite a bit in May. May's been a tough month for me. I'm at 24, 76 to go, the 2-2. And now here's a liner to left field, and that is going to drop in for a base hit. That should score in J.P. Crawford, and it will. And the Mariners have now taken a 1-0 lead on a 2-out RBI single by Rowdy Tellez. Good to see the Mariners get on the board. That was a nice hit. It didn't actually go to left field. It actually went to left center field, and that was a nice liner by Rowdy Tellez, and it's good to see the Mariners on the board. Let's get those quick runs in there, shall we? And now we've got Leody Taveras up to the plate. And you knew that J.P. Crawford was going to book it. And, oh, we got someone talking. Pitching coach is talking to McCullens Jr., who was off to a good start, a very decent start, got 2 strikeouts, but then he got into some trouble. And now it's up to Leody Taveras to see if he can extend this game, or shall I say, extend this inning. But yeah, I'm at 76 games to go to reach my goal of 100. Right now, I'm on pace for 97, and that may change real soon. Here is Leody Taveras up to the plate. And he's waiting right now as McCollins is trying to get settled along with the catcher. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep right center field. Is that going to be enough? Nope. That is going to be caught by the right fielder. And that's going to retire the side. But the good news is the Mariners do get one run. Next part of the inning, we'll see George Kirby. But until then, let's watch me play some All-Star Baseball 2000. All right, here it is. Let's get right to it. Going up against Moises Alou. This game makes me feel a bit younger, or it does make me feel older. And I got runners in first and second with Jamie Moyer as my pitcher. Got a strikeout out of Jamie Moyer. Now it's Ken Caminetti. Oh, great. Now I have the bases loaded for Houston. Carl Everett played for the Astros in 1999. Had no idea. And I'm giving up runs. Uh-oh, not good. I just gave up a 2-run double to Carl freaking Everett, the guy who doesn't even believe in dinosaurs. And my live streaming. Oh, gotta go. And we are back from the break. And now it's going to be George Kirby who's going to be up to the plate or up to the mound. He's going to be up to a tough task against the Houston Astros. It's never a walk in the park when you play these guys, even if they're a 100-loss team. It's been proven before. George Kirby with a fastball, sinker, slider, splitter, and that knuckle curveball where he doesn't use that much. Now here's Jeremy Pena up to the plate, batting .297. The pitch. Oh, and that hit him. And the very first pitch of George Kirby's season debut, he already gives up, surrenders. Yeah, nice to have Jordan out at least. Reist. Yeah, hit by pitch already. Yeah, Jordan Alvarez is out, but that's coming at the cost of my fantasy baseball team. Now here's Isaac Paredes up to the plate. Let's see what this guy can do. I would assume if Alvarez doesn't pick it up by the end of the season, he'll probably be more undervalued next year for the baseball draft. But why am I talking about that? That's still like less than a year, just less than a year away. Now here's Isaac Paredes. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. 98-mile-an-hour fastball for George Kirby. It seems that he hasn't really lost much of his velocity quite yet. I guess we'll see. Paredes is the leader in home runs with 10. He was acquired by the Chicago Cubs, from the Chicago Cubs due to that Kyle Tucker trade, as the Astros felt they weren't going to give him the extension, as now we're at 0-1. And now here's the 0-1 pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. The other thing to appreciate out of George Kirby is that he rarely walks batters. Last 9 games, Paredes has hit 6 home runs. And now we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. 98-mile-an-hour fastball for the George Kirby. Looking at his StatCast for George Kirby. And now we're at 1-2 for George. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball popped up to left field and fouled. That was well out of play. He mostly pitches up to a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, up to 98. Now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, could be double play ball. Throw to second and the throw to first. And that is in time for the double play. And a good way for George Kirby to make up for the hit by pitch on Jeremy Pena. But now we got the dangerous Jose Altuve, the legendary Jose Altuve up to the plate. But he is batting .238 this season, so he is not off to a good start. I mean, look at him. He has 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, has a .294 OBP. He has struck out quite a bit. I mean, this has been a really tough season for Jose Altuve. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike, a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. George Kirby, as of now, he is looking very, very sharp. And let's hope that he can keep this up, as he is at 0-1 for Jose Altuve. And now here is the 0-1 pitch. And that's going to be just missing it for a ball on another 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Let's just remember, though, George Kirby doesn't walk very often. That I can tell you that. George Kirby, in terms of walks, only walked 23 batters. Now the pitch. Now here's a line ground ball right to J.P. Crawford. Good heads-up play. And that is going to be in time to get the out. And now that will retire the side. Not really a 1-2-3 inning, but the Mariners got out of it, including a double play and good play by J.P. Crawford. And now it's time to get back into all-star baseball. Looks like I won't be doing commercials today anytime soon. Who's this guy? Don't even know who this is. Let's give a curveball. That's right. Now I got Jay Buhner. See what he can do for me. And that could be a double. There we go. Let's go, Bone. Go to second base. And he makes it. Thank you. Oh, Russ Davis. Remember him? The third baseman. Wasn't that much out of the play. John Sterling. Now we got Russ. Yeah, I'm not going to chase that at all. Maybe this could be a meatball home run. Yep, there we go. Russ Davis with a 2-run home run. Okay, I'm going to take a break right there. Because now it's time to get back into Mariners baseball. The real Mariners baseball. There we go. Talking to Gabe Spire right now. And we are back from the break, as they're showing J.P. Crawford's really amazing play. Got a 2-run home run from Russ Davis. Now here's J.P. Crawford. He's on the bench. Now here's the pitch to Dylan Moore. Now here's a fly ball to deep left center field, and that is going to be, I think that's going to be a home run. That should be gone. And that is a home run for Dylan Moore. And the Mariners now have extended that lead to 2-0. Right on the first pitch, Dylan Moore just blasts one right out of there. His 8th home run of the season. And the Mariners now lead at 2-0 over the Astros. Good way for Dylan Moore to get his confidence going, as he has struggled this month. And now it's going to be up to Miles Mastroboni. And that ball just got out in a hurry, as he got that trident, and I was just more stunned that he got that home run. And now the Mariners have now jumped out to a 2-0 lead. And let's keep doing, let's keep battering up those runs, get George Kirby all the run support that he can possibly get. And now here's Miles Mastroboni up to the plate. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. Got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Thank you for being here. He said, go Dodgers and go Mariners. At least we have something in common. We're trying to beat the Astros. Now the 1-0. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Miles Mastroboni's batting 209. He's been struggling this month and I guess in this entire season, might as well say. And Logan Gilbert, no, don't do it. Now the 1-1. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to be fielded by Pena. Throw to first in time. And that's going to be 1 out. And now it's going to be Ben Williamson who'll be making his Houston debut. Showing that replay for Dylan Moore's home run. And now here's Ben Williamson up to the plate. And that's going to be low for a ball. 1-0 for Ben Williamson. He's batting 239. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. We're at 1-1 for Ben Williamson. Williamson has struck out 28 times and only walked 4 times. He had a solid start, but now he's just disappeared. Now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. So yeah, Ben Williamson, let's see where he's at in his splits. So in April, he batted 260, and then he batted 220. So he has fallen off since. He doesn't walk enough either. As now we're at 1-2 for Ben Williamson. Now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball, 2-2. Thought the umpire was going to budge and give him a strike. Now we're at 2-2 for Ben Williamson. Now the pitch. And now here's a liner, and that's going to be right through for a base hit. And that is going to be a single for Ben Williamson. And now it's going to be back to the top of the lineup for J.P. Crawford, who has already scored as a runner as he walked earlier in the game. Now we're at the second inning and already at the top of the lineup. That was a liner right through McCullens Jr. Now here's J.P. Crawford up to the plate. Excuse me. And now the pitch. And a big swing and a miss. And J.P. Crawford was really trying to go for that home run. You kind of can tell that he was. As we're at 0-1. And now the next pitch. And here it is. And that's going to be up high for a ball. As now we're at 1-1. Now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. Now we're at 2-1 for J.P. Crawford. And now the pitch. And check swing, he go. He did go, and that's going to be 2-2. Mariners are the best offensive team in the American League West. As now we're at 2-2 for JP. He walked last time, and let's see what more he can do with this inning with the runner on. And now the 2-2 pitch. And that's going to be a blooper-ish. Going to third. And he bobbles the ball. Wow, Paredes just bobbled the ball. And now that's going to be a runners on first and second with just one out. And now it's going to be up to Jorge Polanco. And let's see what he can do. I mean, I would think you're due for something. Isaac Paredes had a blooper on him. Now here's Polanco. They haven't said anything on Julio yet. And Jay Trident, go to your Gmail and text me there because I can't text you on the messenger. Messenger's down for Twitter. Now here's Jorge Polanco batting .296. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball foul. As Polanco, if you remembered, actually, no, he struck out in the first inning. I thought he walked for a second, but he struck out. But nothing on Julio yet. They said that they were going to do it at the end of the game, I guess. Is now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And it's going to be a ground ball foul. Polanco has had the second highest ground ball rate in Major League Baseball. Now we're at 0-2 for Jorge Polanco. And now the pitch. Up high for a ball. That is going to be a 1-2 count. Oh boy. Because now we're at 1-2, the pitch. And that is going to be ball 2. Tried, if there was only a way I could. As we're at 2-2. And now here is the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Another strikeout for Jorge Polanco as he has struggled in this inning. Or struggled in this month, shall I say. Yeah, Twitter has really ruined everything. Another idea is if we exchange phone numbers, but I don't want your phone number to get exposed to the public. Another and I can't even. Or how about, what do I do? I don't know what to do. We're kind of limited on our communication. It's kind of embarrassing to say it in public. I mean, most of the Mariners fans are Northwest sports fanatics anyway, so he's really watching, right? Now we're at Cal Raleigh's up to the plate. The only thing I can think of is just send you the link on here and then go to private chat and then send it to me there so we can communicate. And now here's Cal Raleigh up to the plate. And now here's the pitch. And a big swing and a miss. And that's going to be strike 1. Because we were supposed to have a members-only podcast for tonight. But because Twitter X is down, we don't really have a way of communicating effectively. Now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. Here, let's try this. I'll send you this link. And get onto it. And then give me your number or something. That's the idea. Everyone else, do not click on it. Or I guess we can do tomorrow. As we're at 0-2. For big dumper Cal Raleigh. And now here is the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And McCullers Jr., he gets the strikeout. And that's going to retire the side. And we're going into the bottom of the second inning. Mariners actually did blow an opportunity, but they did get the run from Dylan Moore. Forgot about that. Cannot forget about that. All right, here we go. Russ Davis just gave me a home run. Butch Husky, the man who crashed into the left field fence. That's what he's most famous for. Nope, nothing happening there. Dan Wilson, the current manager of the Mariners. Let's see if I can get a home run right here. Could be a double. Yep, that's going to be a double for the Danny boy. For tomorrow, it's going to be rough because I'm doing some workouts with the guy, the owner of Greg's Great Team. Oh, Jamie Moyer is now going to be my hitter. I'm going to try to hit a home run. Nope. Yeah, Jamie Moyer's tough. Hey, Sleepy, where have you been? It's been a long time. Oh, got a line drive. Base hit for Jamie Moyer. Now let's get David Bell, who was actually the killer of Randy Johnson, believe it or not. Well, we are back from the break. And right here. Oh, wrong side. There we go. Randy Arozarena being shown on the camera. Here's George Kirby. And this is to Yainer Diaz. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. I'm also having my attention on also the Thunder and the Thunder Timberwolves game, as now we're at 0-1 for Diaz. And now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike two on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. George Kirby has one gifted kid. He's got a straight arrow of a fastball. As now we're at 0-2, and now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three, and there is the first. Look, that's the first strikeout for George Kirby on his season debut. And now we've got one out. And Jay Trident Podcast, if you can see this, unless we can get the Twitter Messenger back, looks like we'll just have to wait until either it gets back on, or maybe we'll have to wait till next week to do a show. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. This is for Christian Walker, the marquee free agent signing. Fun fact, Lance McCullers Jr. and George Kirby were starting pitchers for the Astros-Mariners game in the 2022 ALDS Game 3. Now here's the 1-0, and that's going to be a foul ball. As now we're at 1-1 for Christian Walker. And the pitch. And that should be a strike, but umpire doesn't think so. Now at 2-1 for Christian Walker, batting 199 with 5 home runs. He's been off to a really bad start. As we're at 2-1. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep. Not so deep. And, oh, Taveras makes the catch. It was shallow, and Taveras hustled in to make the catch as he is playing center field in place of Julio Rodriguez. And the other painful thing, too, is Christian Walker is also on my team for my fantasy baseball team. I also have my attention directed to the Thunder game as well. Thunder versus Timberwolves, and as us Seattle fans, we are pretty much obligated to cheer for Minnesota Timberwolves. And now here's the pitch to Caratini, and that's going to be a strike. Just to think that I was going to do that game, but then I decided to do the Mariners game because it was George Kirby's season debut, so I just had to do it. If it was anybody else pitching, I would have done the game, the Thunder game. As we're at 0-1, and now here's the pitch. And check swing, did he go? He did go. And Julius Randle shot up a three-pointer. Nothing new. In basketball, all they ever do is shoot three-pointers. Drives me nuts. How ironic. A Seattle company, Microsoft, puts their sponsorship investments into Oklahoma. A Seattle company does business with Oklahoma. Pretty ironic, don't you think? Now we're at 0-2, and now the pitch. That is outside for a ball. Yeah, Timberwolves are just playing complete lazy basketball. But now they finally got their first basket. As we're at 1-2, George Kirby does his signature shaking the glove. And now here's the 1-2. And now it's a foul tip. It's still going to be 1-2. As now we're at 1-2 for Caratini. And Kirby should be set. And now here's the 1-2 pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. It's going to be 2-2. And now here's the 2-2 pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through J.P. Crawford for a base hit. And now we got Caratini on first base. And now the next batter is going to be Jake Myers. J.P. Crawford has kind of had his issues on defense. He can't really get the diving stops. I mean, they're tough to do, but still. And now we've got Jake Myers up to the plate batting .306 with 3 home runs, having a better start than most of the Astros. Now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike one. That was a 97 mile an hour fastball. As now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And low for a ball that gets away. And now that's going to be a free base for Caratini. And now you got a runner in scoring position for the first time in this game. Now we're at 1-1 for Jake Myers. Now here's the pitch. Outside for a ball again. And George Kirby's kind of having some problems looking for that strike zone. As now we're facing a 2-1 count on Jake Myers. And the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, strike 2. Now we're at 2-2. Let's see what they can do with 2-2. And now the pitch. Check swing. He does not go. Now it's going to be 3-2. And Kirby's got to be careful. After that's going to be Cam Smith. Cam Smith has 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, batting .235 though. As we're at 3-2 for Jake Myers. And now the pitch. And that's going to be strike 3 called, and that will retire the side. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. It is 2-0 Mariners. And why are they showing Bryce Miller for? Wonder what that's about. Well, doesn't matter, because it's time for me to play some All-Star Baseball. Let's do this. Here's A-Rod. And that's probably home run. Yep, 3-run home run for Alex Rodriguez. Look at that. I'm also going to warm up Jeff Facero. Now here's Ken Griffey Jr. Oh, home run for Ken Griffey Jr. There we go. Can I do back to back to back? It's going to be up to Edgar Martinez if I can do a back to back to back home runs. And here it is. Oh, come on. Go, 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 go. How about back to back to back? Jay Buhner, can he make it back to back to back to back? Oh, I missed it. Oh, no, he's not giving me a good one. Yep, I struck out. Well, there goes that streak of back to back to back to back home runs, or it was just back to back to back home runs. All right, here we are. Now we are back from the break. Let's get this done. We are now at the top of the inning. Now here's the pitch to Randy Arozarena. It's going to be low for a ball that gets away. Now they're interviewing Bryce Miller, which honestly I think it's a little bit distracting. Let's just focus on the game. As now we're at 1-0 for Randy Arozarena. And now the pitch. And that was right in there for a strike. Like, why doesn't Randy Arozarena actually chase those? As Oklahoma City, if you care about them, they are kind of running away with that game. As we're at 1-1. And now here's the pitch. Now here's a liner to left field. Nope. Caught by Altuve. Hard to believe that Altuve is the left fielder, as he was a long-time second baseman. What's with avocados? That was in Chicago. And now here's Rowdy Tellez up to the plate. And that was in there for a strike. And Rowdy Tellez was known for getting the Mariners on the board with his RBI single. As now we're at an 0-1 count. And now here's the 0-1. And that's going to be foul ball. Could be playable. And looks like it's out of play. Now we're at 0-2 for Bryce Miller. Let's get this done. 0-2. Let's get a home run, shall we? And now the pitch to Rowdy Tellez. And low for a ball. That is going to be 1-2. One and two for Rowdy. Now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. And now that's going to be 2 outs for the Mariners. Up next, it's going to be Leody Taveras. Huh. And now here's the pitch to Taveras. And that's going to be outside for a ball. Now we're at 1-0. Now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball foul. Now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball to right field and fouled. It looked good on Leody Taveras. And they're still talking to Bryce Miller. Let's just focus on the game. As now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. And that's a foul ball. Now we're at 1-2 for Leody Taveras. And here it is. And that's going to be ball 2. Mariners are 15-5 in their last 20 road games, while the Houston Astros are 5-5 in their last 10. Now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for the Astros. And we are going to go into the bottom of the third. And I'm going to be playing All-Star Baseball again. Back to it. Oh, I just retired the side. Whoever this guy is, I'm just going to throw fastballs on him. Kirby, yeah, you're hoping that Kirby can go 5 innings. I do too. I would like 6 innings out of him. No, Shane Reynolds. Basically an automatic. Oh, great. I got Craig Biggio. Infield hit. Now Derek Bell. Look at this guy last time. Struck him out. He missed. Change up. Struck him out. Well, they'll go to the bullpen. He's got the best stuff. Hey, but he's great in the clubhouse. Line drive. Do right. Oh, Russ Davis is safe. All right, let's go, Butch Husky. Mr. Crash into the Wall, 1999. That should be enough. And oh, we are back from the break. Commercial break is over. Hope you got some fun out of that All-Star Baseball experience. And now here's George Kirby. Now the pitch. And now here's a liner to right field and foul. That was Cam Smith. What a nice hit, but then just went foul. Timberwolves are playing garbage. Now here's the 0-1. Now here's a liner to left field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. And Cam Smith will get on the board with a single. Now here is Mauricio Dubon, who's already at 0-1. Now here's a line drive to right field, and that is going to be a base hit. And now Cam Smith is going to go to third base. And now we got runners on first and third with nobody out. Looks like my feed was a little bit behind at the moment. Not looking good so far. It proves that the 2-0 lead is clearly not enough. And now here's Jeremy Pena. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball foul. Why was Anthony Edwards shooting a three-pointer like that? That was a horrible attempt. Now we're at 0-1 for Jeremy Pena. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. It's going to be 0-2 on Jeremy Pena. If you can get this strikeout, then that means you can possibly pitch into a double play. As we're at 0-2 and the pitch. And that actually got him, and the bases are now loaded. Now, the only positive thing about this is at least you have a play at home. You have a force out at home, but the problem is, I don't know. Bases are now loaded. That's what the idea is. Not good. And that's the second time Jeremy Pena has been hit. And that didn't even hit him. Jeremy Pena kind of like flopped it. And he gets away with it. Now here's Isaac Paredes. And now the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball. As we're at 1-0. And now the 1-0 pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. As we're at 1-1. On Isaac Paredes, who has the bases loaded. Now he calls for time. Makes me very nervous when the bases are loaded for Isaac Paredes, their best hitter on the team. Now we're at 1-1 and the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And that's going to be 1-2. One and two for Paredes. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. And George Kirby is really struggling in this inning. As we're at 1-2 for Isaac Paredes. And now the 1-2 pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball foul again. Now we're at 1-2 on Paredes. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. Could be double. No, bobbled by Williamson. Throw to second, throw to first. And nobody is out. And the runner does score. And the Mariners now have that lead cut down to 2-1. As Ben Williamson struggled to maintain control of the ball. And now Houston is now on the board. Uncharacteristic defensive error by Ben Williamson. He had a play and he let it bobble. Actually, there was a play at second base. Excuse me. So Ben Williamson, I mean, considering that he still kind of made up for it. But now you got a runner. Now you got runners on first and third with one out. as Houston gets on the board. And now conversation should be concluding. Yep, they're eating up George Kirby's pitch count. So, yeah, you think that he's probably going to be on a restricted pitch count. As now we got Jose Altuve, another dangerous hitter. Although he's struggling this season, this is the time where he can raise to the occasion. As now we're at 1-2 on Altuve. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. 98-mile-an-hour fastball by George Kirby. The Furious George is what they call him sometimes. As now we're at 0-1. And now the 0-1 pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, strike 2. Now we're at 0-2 on Jose Altuve. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up to right field, but that should score in a run. Not even a pop-up, and that is caught by Mastroboni. Tagging at third is Cam Smith. And now the game is tied at 2-2. I wish it was actually a pop-up, so I was wrong about that. And Altuve has done his job. Actually, that was Dubon who actually scored in. And now this game is tied. After a 2-0 lead by the Mariners, it got squandered within 3 innings. Within 2 innings, shall I say. Christian, I don't need that reminder. Now we have Diaz up to the plate. Yainer Diaz. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that is strike 1. As we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball to left field and fouled. After brilliant pitching by George Kirby, it seems that it's getting away from him in this inning, which is why, yeah, there's a point that he may not even last 5 or 6 innings. As now we're at 0-2. And now here's the pitch. It's going to be outside for a ball. That was a pitch out coordinated by Cal Raleigh. Now it's the 1-2 count. Had Ben Williamson actually not bobbled that ball, we actually could have gotten out of this inning with it being 2-1. And now the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's going to retire the side. But Houston gets 2 runs out of it in this inning. And we go to the top of the 4th inning. Mariners have better get some scoring going, or they're going to lose this game. I don't know about DFA Ben Williamson, but his bat is a major concern. Here's Dan Wilson. Can he get me a home run? Nope.
Line drive to second base. He's out at first. Picked up Jamie Moyer. Splitter.
I'm going to try to see if I can get a bunt out of Jamie Moyer.
There goes the runner. A bunt toward the pitcher's mound.
Nope. Ah, I got a double play. I bunted into a double play. Not good.
He's out at first.
There's Jeff Bagwell.
Low roller to the catcher. He's out at first.
There we go.
Voices aloof. He was way ahead of the changeup. He was way ahead of it. Curve. Struck him out. Now that's Ken Caminiti. Now, careful with this guy. He can take any pitch out of the ball. Curve. In there for a strike. He missed that. He goes down. Line drive to left. A single to start the inning. In the back.
And we are back from the break. As the Mariners had a disastrous top of the bottom of the third inning. Now we're in the top of the fourth inning. And here is the pitch to Dylan Moore. And that's going to be low for a ball. And now the 1-0 pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball again. Or foul ball. That's going to be 1-1. McCullers is now at 60 pitches so far. And now the pitch. Outside for a ball. We're at 2-1 for Dylan Moore. And the pitch. And that's going to be popped up. And that's not going to get anything done. And Smith makes the catch. Now here's Miles Mastroboni up to the plate. And here it is. And that's going to be inside for a ball. And now here's the 1-0. And that's going to be outside for a ball. That's going to be 2-0 for Mastroboni. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And now the pitch. Ball 3, 3-1. As we're at 3-1. And now the pitch. Up high for ball 4. Take your base as Miles Mastroboni gets on the board with a walk. And now we got Ben Williamson up to the plate. And now the pitch. That is outside for a ball. 1-0 the count on Ben Williamson. Jose Altuve is at left field. They're showing him there. And the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Current road trip, although Ben Williamson's been struggling, he's actually been playing well. on the road trip, batting .313, going 5 of 16. So at least there is some encouragement. Yankees are actually leading the Texas Rangers. Let's keep that up. A lot of work for the score guys there, as we're at 1-1. And now the 1-1 and the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. It could be double play ball. Yep, it will be. And at least a little bit distracting. Yeah. Well, at least Ben Williams, Mastrobuoni distracted enough to prevent a double play. But now we've got 2 outs. Oh boy. 2 outs have happened in a hurry. Now here's JP Crawford up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. And now we're at 1-0. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. As now we're at 2-0. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a 2-1. That's a strike. As now we're at 2-1 for JP. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. 3-1. And now the 3-1. And that's going to be a foul ball. As much as I would have liked to see JP Crawford go for that walk, he had to swing at that. It was clearly in the strike zone. Now we're at 3-2 for JP. Now here's the full count. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is going to retire the side. We go to the next inning, and it's going to be 2-2 going into the bottom of the 4th inning. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Another home run for Alex Rodriguez. Now here's Ken Griffey Jr. See if I can get a back-to-back-to-back-to-back. Nope. Yep, that should be extra bases. Might be able to score Griffey on that with that speed. And Ken Griffey Jr. scores. It looks like the game is going to be back, so I better hustle back in. Now they're showing a little bit of the Everett game. Laz Montez hit his 9th home run of the season. Wow. Leads the Northwest League, and now we're back from the break. Now here's George Kirby. That's going to be outside for a ball. As now we're at 1-0. And now the pitch. And that is going to be in there for a strike. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a 2-1 count. That's a ball to Christian Walker. And the pitch. That's going to be a foul ball, strike 2. Now it's going to be 2-2 for Christian Walker. Let's see if we can get this guy out. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another strikeout for George Kirby. Let's see how many strikeouts that is so far. That is strikeout number 4 for George Kirby. Now here's Caratini, and now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 1. And I believe he was the one that started this whole rally. As now we're at 0-1 for Victor Caratini. And the pitch. Oh, up high for a ball. As now we're at 1-1 the count. And now here's Caratini, the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Dylan Moore. And now the throw to first. That is in time to make it 2 outs. Kirby's now at 52 pitches. A little bit inefficient because he had that struggling bottom of the 3rd inning. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball for Myers. And now we're at 1-0 the pitch. And that's going to be a foul tip, strike 1. As we're at 1-1. Now here's the pitch. And that's going to be a 1-2 count on Myers. George Kirby's having a little bit of a better inning, probably a much better inning than the last inning. As now we're at 1-2. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball, 2-2. And the 2-2. Now here's a liner, and that's going to get right through for a base hit as J.P. Crawford could not field that. And now we've got man on first base with 2 outs, but you still got to be very careful. Now here is Smith, Cam Smith, who is 1-for-1, who was instrumental in that 2-2 tie. Throw to first, and it's going to be not in time. It's going to be bottom of the fourth. And that's going to be inside for a ball. Now we're at 1-0 for Cam Smith, who singled and he scored himself. And now the pitch. And that's going to be 2-0 as George Kirby is showing his struggles. He's at 63 pitches. He's probably, I think next inning is going to be his last inning. Not pitching exactly the best right now. And now the pitch. It's going to be outside for a ball, 3-0. This is a very uncharacteristicness of George Kirby. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike one. That is a strike right there. As now we're at 3-1 for Kirby, for Smith. And now the pitch. And that's going to be strike two. Now we're at 3-2 for Cam Smith. And now the pitch. Up high for ball four. Now you got runners on first and second with 2 outs. But this is where it's getting very dangerous. Honestly, I think this might be his last inning because George Kirby is just not looking good. He's having problems with his location. And now it's going to be Dubon, Mauricio Dubon. He is now up to the plate. Now here's Dubon, who is 1-for-1 the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Mariners desperately have to get out of this inning. As now we're at 0-1 for Dubon. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, strike two. As we got Eduardo Bizardo in the bullpen, which, can we please not use him again? He's really just not that good. I just don't see what value the Mariners see in him. As now we're at 0-2 for Dubon. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. As now we're at 1-2. And the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit as Tellez could not get that. That's going to score in a run, and the Astros now lead 3-2. As Tellez just could not field, which is why the Mariners absolutely need a first baseman. I think that's an excellent case why you got to call up someone like Tyler Locklear. As Dubon has been killing the Mariners. As Tellez, like, that's just proves that he just does not have any defense. It's really frustrating to see something like that happen. Mariners get a 2-0 lead, and then they squander it immediately. Now here's Jeremy Pena up to the plate. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep left center field. And that's going to be dropping in for a base hit. That's going to score in another run. And Randy Arozarena, he just finally gets it. And that's going to score in 2 runs. And the Astros now break this game open to make it 5-2. Oh my goodness. What is going on with the Mariners? Now the Mariners have to really make up some ground, more than make up for it. And as much as you want to put in some accountability on George Kirby with his difficulty to locate, also the defense has been atrocious for the Mariners, but also you can put it on the offense for completely just blowing it completely, wasting complete opportunities. And Randy Arozarena is just not, like, he just has no sense of urgency. And there's Dan Wilson. He has coming out and he has seen enough. And now it's going to be Eduardo Bizzardo because why not? The Mariners are losing 5-2. So yeah, this is probably the best time to use Eduardo Bizzardo because you pretty much just gave up. I guess Dan Wilson thought that George Kirby was going to get himself out of it. But Bizzardo probably would have been the same result anyway.
Very close play. Double play. Line drive to center.
I'm speechless. That's why I'm kind of not in the mood because when you see that happen, and then that Oklahoma's kicking Minnesota's ass too. That's like double whammer. Yeah, this is how I'm venting. Playing some old 1999 Mariners team. And that's going to be off the wall. Nope, not worth going to second base for that. Oh, and now here's Eduardo Bizzardo, who is now on the mound. And this is actually the best time to use Eduardo Bizzardo because he's really bad. Especially when the game is out of reach. It's like, why not? The worst part is you're playing the Astros, who are just completely just struggling. And it's what the Mariners do best. They tend to struggle against teams that do struggle. I mean, look at the Astros. They just lost a series to Tampa Bay and split a series to the Texas Rangers. So it's not like you were going up against a good team, but when it comes to rivalry, that's a thing. Oh, and Thanos says that Jeremy Pena got his 500th hit. Fitting that it would be against the Mariners. Yep, that is true too. Now the pitch. I mean, I don't much as problem with Tellez. It's just that why are we still using Donovan Solano? He's pretty much a free out for the other team. Now we're at 2-0 for Isaac Paredes. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball drilled to left field, but Randy Arozarena, and he makes the catch. And that's going to retire the side, but the Astros come away with 3 runs. And they're going to Mariners have to more than make up for any ground. But if you're putting in Eduardo Bizzardo, that's a sign that you just basically just gave up. Especially when you're wasting it out of George Kirby. Well, let's play this game again, shall we? Let's go with Danny Boy Wilson. I want to see if I can get a home run out of him. That'd be cool. Oh, nope, that's not going to do it. Nope, got it. Well, not got it, but...
There goes the runner. A bunt toward the pitcher's mound. He's out at third. He's safe at first.
Yeah, bunting is tough.
Line drive to left.
Oh, looks like we are already back from the break, huh? And the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball for Jorge Polanco. Now here's the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. Mariners are going to have to make up for a lot of ground on this one. Polanco is 2 strikeouts so far. He has absolutely struggled this month. And now the pitch. That's going to be a ground ball foul, 2-1. Now we're at 2-1. McCullens has actually settled down since the first couple innings. And now the pitch to Polanco. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. Now we're at 2-2 for Polanco. He's probably going to strike out. And now the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And he is just one strikeout away from the golden sombrero. And now that's going to be 1 out. And Polanco is just looking absolutely atrocious. Now we're seeing the 2024 Polanco, the one that we know and love. And now it's going to be Cal Raleigh up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And here it is again. And swing and a miss, strike 2. What's with these awful swings by the Mariners? I mean, yeah, you're down 5-2, but you still have a few innings to go. I guess if you're putting in Bizzardo, that's just a sign that you just gave up. But where's that sense of urgency? You don't even see that from the Mariners today. Ever since they gave up the 2 runs, they just seem to just gave up. And now the 0-2. I'm surprised he didn't swing at that one. And that's going to be a 1-2 count on big dumper Cal Raleigh. Now we're at the 1-2. And that's going to be low for a ball, 2-2. And now the 2-2. Low for a ball, 3-2. Finally, he's getting more patient with it. Now we're at 3-2 for Cal Raleigh. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And Cal Raleigh gets on base with a 1-out single. And now I believe it's going to be Randy Arozarena up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And again, Randy Arozarena just refuses to hit at actual strikes, but he'll swing at really bad ones. That's why I think he's heavily overrated and just not that good. And now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Could have been, I don't know. But he's just not swinging at anything. But now I can just guarantee that he's going to strike out. Watch this. Here's a magic trick. As we're at 0-2 for Randy Arozarena. And bye-bye. And now here's a ground ball. And that's going to get right through for a base hit. And now that's going to be runners on first and second with 1 out. And now next up to the plate, I believe, is going to be Rowdy Tellez. And don't really have much confidence in that. Yeah, Rowdy Tellez, very boomer bust player. And I really thought he was going to make way for Tyler Locklear to get a call. And looks like that is going to be it. Or, yep, that's going to be it for McCullers Jr. He pitched with 91 pitches, held the Mariners to 2 runs. The Mariners could have scored a lot more, and it didn't happen. And now we'll be back after this timeout. Yeah, Mariners are going to find a way to screw this up, aren't they?
He made good contact, but hit it right out of field. In the batting box, Alex Rodriguez. Line drive to center.
And now I have the bases loaded for Ken Griffey Jr. Oh, this could be it. Yep, that's a grand slam home run for Ken Griffey Jr. Julio had a late game scratch, but there's no word on what it was. I'm winning 14-2. I wish this could be the Mariners game right now against Houston. Of course he makes the catch. And we are back from the break. Let's get this done, Mariners. Rowdy Tellez, all I can think of is a home run at this point because that's all he's really capable of, unfortunately. Now here's Sean Dubin. And now here is Rowdy Tellez. Surprised they didn't go with a lefty. That would have forced in Donovan Solano to pitch. And that is a strike. He must be that confident. If I were them, I would have just put in a lefty, and then that would have just brought in Donovan Solano, which I would have been against. And now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. Low for a ball. That is going to be a 1-1 count. Now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, 1-2. Now we're at 1-2 for Rowdy Tellez. And now the pitch. And here's a liner to right field, and that is going to drop in for a base hit. That should score. No, it's going to be bases loaded. And now, yep, bases are loaded for who? Who's his name? I wonder if that's going to do something. It's going to be Leody Taveras. Ugh, lady, no. Yeah, it's going to be one out, but he's a strikeout master. Yeah, Cal Raleigh wouldn't have had a chance. It's 5-2 right now. And now Taveras, all we need is just a nice clean hit. I don't think we really are asking for a grand slam home run. The pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. That was his pitch right there. Well, wasn't really in the hot zone, but it kind of was. And unfortunately, that game is ahead of me. The scoreboard's ahead of me. And now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, strike 2. And that one, he had to swing at that one because that wasn't his hot zone. With runners in scoring position, Taveras is batting .344 with 13 RBIs. But I think much of that was inflated when he played for the Texas Rangers. As now we're at 0-2, and time has been called by Taveras. Now we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Why does that not surprise me at all? So he swings at a really shitty pitch. No, swings at a really shitty pitch, but he won't swing at an obvious strike. Just frustrating. And now it's going to be Dylan Moore up to the plate. I don't know what more he can really do because he's already hit a home run. It's really rare for him to actually hit a home run, a second home run, which would be rare. And now here's the pitch. He has one career grand slam home run, and that's actually going to be a ball. His one career grand slam home run was against Houston on July 26, 2021, when the Mariners had a huge come from behind victory. As now we're at 1-0 for Dylan Moore. Now here's the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Why didn't you swing at that one? That was literally right down the middle. Literally. Right? That was literally your pitch, and you don't even swing at it? Gets frustrating when you get games like this. And now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be foul ball, strike 2. As he swung at that one. Something obvious he should have. But now it's going to be a 1-2 count. He has 4 career multi-home run games. His last one was against Cincinnati, but they had lost that game. But now it's going to be up to Dylan Moore. He can make something happen. We're at 1-2. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be popped up. Yep, that's going to be popped up all right. And that's going to retire the side. And right now I'm too frustrated to play All-Star Baseball right now. So let me just go to the bathroom. Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thin crust.
you think Cal Raleigh could have scored on that? Does Cam Smith have the arm? That would have been the question. But how could the Mariners leave the bases loaded twice? Like, you just can't do that. Oh, but the Mariners can. And we are back from the break, and Brad Adams got something to say. And guess what? I don't care. Now here's Eduardo Bizardo, and now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled well out of play. And the most frustrating part of this game is Mariners are getting beat up by players that are at the bottom of the lineup. It's not like the top of the lineup is doing really anything much. Now we're at 0-1 for Jose Altuve as he is up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. 0-2. As now we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. We're at 1-2. And the pitch. And that's going to get away, and that's going to be a ball. And the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. It's going to be full count 3-2. And the pitch. Now here's a fly ball drilled to left field. Forget about that one. That is a home run, a solo home run by Jose Altuve. And the Astros extend their lead 6-2. And yep, this game seems like that could be the exclamation mark here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it's now the Astros 6 and the Mariners 2. And that was just absolutely destroyed. And that's when you know the game is over. When you're putting in Eduardo Bizardo into the game, that's when you know it's over. And the fact that he's probably going to be allowed one extra inning shows how much this game is over. There's no way the Mariners are going to come back. Now here is Diaz up to the plate. And that's going to be low for a ball. And the pitch. Now here's a liner to left field, and that is going to be a base hit. And now you got Yainer Diaz at first base with a hit. And honestly, I just want this game to end so I can just go outside for a walk because this game was just frustrating. Tomorrow you got Emerson Hancock, then you got Brian Wu and Luis Castillo on Sunday. And I wonder if Gusto is available because he's probably going to kick the Mariners' ass. I know I'm sounding a bit more negative, but when you have games like this, of course it's going to drive you all cranky. Now the pitch, and that's going to be in there for a strike. Now we're at 0-1. And the pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball. And now it's 1-1. And that's going to be low for a ball. We're at 2-1 for Walker. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that's going to be strike 2. Or it could have been a foul ball. But to be fair, I do like it that they're putting in Eduardo Bizzardo on more of a insurmountable lead kind of situation, not a high leverage. As we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. It's going to be a ground ball foul. Now we're at 2-2 for Walker, as if we already are. And the 2-2 pitch. And that's going to be outside 3-2. Cal Raleigh tried to sell it to him, but the umpire was not willing to budge. It's a full count. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And down goes Walker, and he's been struggling throughout this entire game. I think that's 3 strikeouts in a row for him throughout this game. And now we've got 1 out, still with a man on first. Now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. Now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. One and one for Carantini, who's actually been one of the contributors of this game. Now the 1-1. Now here's a ground ball foul. As now we're at 1-2. And the pitch. Low for a ball, 2-2 for Caratini. And now my feed is just absolutely glitching. And the Root Sports app is just absolutely atrocious. Like, I really hate this app so much. It's always usually on par, but it's just terrible. Oh, and by the way, there's a runner on first and second. Yep, and Tellez could not get that. And luckily, that only got runners on first and second. Like, this just proves how much the Mariners have issues on first base. I think Ty France could have gotten that one. Now the 1-2. Or I'm sorry, Jake Myers is 1 for 2 right now. As we got an 0-1. And now the pitch. And now here's going to be a fly ball to right field, and Mastroboni is going to be there. And he makes the catch and tagging at no tag. Since the cheating scandal, losing to the Astros hurts me as much as losing to the Yankees. Honestly, I don't care about the cheating scandal. I'm more traumatized by the Robbie Ray versus Jordan Alvarez. I think that was a bigger scandal than the Mariners themselves. And now we've got Cam Smith, who is 1-for-1, also a big contributor. The bottom of the lineup has been contributing. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. I can't believe that Twitter X messages are not working still. It's still down. I have no idea what's going on. Now though to 0-1. And that's going to be a ball. I mean, for a big company called Twitter X, it's kind of unacceptable when you have a company like that and you're not even allowing people to message each other. That's really messed up. And why is Julius Randle still pitching, hitting 3 points? And now here's a fly ball to left field, but Rosarena's going to be there, and he makes the catch. And that's going to retire the side. Now I'm just going to go to this game.
He was wasting it. Oh. Line drive. The first base. He made good contact, but hit it right out of field. Now back. Here, Bill. Third. He goes up. Fastball. Swung on and missed. And he was close to the plate. Slater. Outside for ball. Line drive. To right center. He's in there with a dive. He's a hole. Pick up Rustics. He could be heading.
Oh, another home run for Russ Davis. Man, I would give any of these runs to the Mariners. Can I give like 5 of those runs to the Mariners right now? I'd love to. Because I'll still beat up this game. And we are back from the break. And you can't join tonight, can you, Josh? Well, maybe we'll have an opportunity for tomorrow. And we got a new pitcher under the bullpen. It's going to be Okert. That means if the lefty is going to be around, that probably means that Donovan Solano is going to play. Now here is Leo Rivas. Now the pitch up high for a ball because he is the pinch hitter. And now the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball, 2-0. I wonder how Leo Rivas is doing this season. Leo Rivas is batting .306, and it's kind of a crime that he's not being allowed to get any more at-bats, but I don't know if he would be that much of a contributor anyway if he got full-time at-bats, just like Master Boney is getting, or more than part-time. And now the 2-0, and that's going to be a foul ball. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball again. And now Rivas. He's working on a 2-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball once again. Now we're at 2-2. Now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. We're at 3-2, the full count. Maybe Rivas can get something going. Although it's going to be the top, it's top of the 6th inning right now. It's going to be pretty unlikely at this rate where the Mariners are at 3-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And honestly, I have just mentally gave up on this game. It seems that the Mariners have mentally gave up themselves too. It's really hard to be patient with this team when you have people, media members out there asking for patience from this team. It's a lot to ask when you have a team that hasn't even been to the World Series or even forced a Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. Now here's Ben Williamson, the pitch. Now here's a ground ball foul. Just missed it. Now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Now we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that is going to be 2 outs for the Mariners. And now we've got Matt Brash or Jesse Hahn in the bullpen. Yeah, I wouldn't waste Matt Brash on a game like this because he's more for the high leverage. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 1 for J.P. Crawford. And the Mariners are like, it's just depressingly hopeless to watch this game. Now we're at 0-1, the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball, 1-1. As we're at 1-1, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Now here's JP working on a 1-2, the pitch. Low for a ball, 2-2. At this point, I would just try to hit a home run. Like, I really don't care. Now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 strikeouts in a row. And that is going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 6-2.
Outside for ball. Inside for ball. Going on in the air. Back to see I have about that ball. Pick up and Wilson. Off speed. He was way up, changeup. Hit hard in the air. Double play. Up next, Jamie Boyer. Bird. Swung on. First was making contact. You know, gets to our pitch. Line drive. To left.
I think I'm going to put in Jeff Passero right now. And we are back from the break already. And now we got Jesse Hahn coming out of the bullpen. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And that's when you know the game is over, when you're down 4. But when you're putting your low leverage bullpen pitchers, that shows how much this game is pretty much over. Now the 0-1. Now here's a ground ball right to Leo Rivas, throw the first. And that's going to be in time. And now here's Jeremy Pena. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And the pitch again. And that's going to be swing and a miss. And that is 0-2. Now we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. Outside for a ball. It's going to be 1-2 on Jeremy Pena, who heavily contributed to this game. He tends to be the Mariner killer. And now it's 1-2. Now here's a liner to left field, and Randy Arozarena catches it. Now here's Isaac Paredes, and that is going to be a strike, as we are on 2 outs already, by the way. Now we're at 0-1, and now the pitch. Oh, and that hit him, and Paredes goes to first base, and this Mariners pitching has just been absolutely out of control. Yeah, that hit him right on the shoulders. Now here's Jose Altuve, who hit the home run last time. He has heavily contributed for the Astros. Now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball drilled to left field. Forget about that one. That is a 2-run home run for Jose Altuve, and that's his 2nd home run of the game. And the Astros extended this lead to 8-2. And that I can say that is the dagger of this game. As congratulations to Houston, you pretty much won this game. Mariners pretty much lost, and now you have to win 3 in a row just to win the series, or win 2 games to guarantee a split, obviously. And that ball was just gone the moment it was hit. And you couldn't deny that Jose Altuve just destroyed that one. And now here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball. And you can pretty much accept that this game's pretty much over. Honestly, I'm pretty much relieved at this point about it. And now the pitch. Now we're at 1-1 for Yanner Diaz. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. There's Diaz. It's going to be outside for a ball. As we're at 3-1, and now the pitch. Low for a ball, ball 4. And that's when you know the game is over, when Jesse Hahn is your pitcher. Dan Wilson, he's not looking too happy. And why should he? As they're looking at Dan Wilson. Now we got Christian Walker up to the plate. And now the pitch. And here's a ground ball foul. Now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner to right field, and that's going to be a base hit. That could be runner going to third base, and he is going to. And now you got runners on first and third with 2 outs. There's Christian Walker. Had an exit velocity of 106, so that got out pretty fast. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball. And the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Now we're at 1-1 for Caratini. The pitch inside for a ball, 2-1. Now the pitch. Ground ball foul. Now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. Up high for a ball. 3-2. And the 3-2 pitch. Now here's a line drive, and that's going to be a base hit, and that's going to make it 9-2. And Houston continues to just batter the Mariners. Once it's game over. And now Pete Woodworth is coming out to the bullpen, coming out to the mound. Dan cannot be sitting on his hot hitters in a big series like this. I don't know. There's not really anyone hot right now. And now the pitch. Low for a ball. Now the 1-0. And that's going to be outside for a ball. Now we're at 2-0. Now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike, 2-1. I think this game is just as suffocating as the Brian Wu game that I remembered 2 years ago. This game is just as suffocating. And now the pitch. That is low for a ball. I know. I agree. You can just tell that Dan Wilson called it quits. Because I guess he wanted to just save his high leverage pitchers until next day. But there's no guarantees that there's going to be smooth starts out of Hancock, Wu, and Castillo. There's just no guarantees. And the 3-1. And that's going to be a strike. As we're at 3-2. Now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right off of Hahn. Goes to the first base, and that's going to be in time. Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thin crust.
Oh, this game's completely frustrating. And now we're back from the break. Oh, another member. William. Thank you. You came back. Where have you been this whole time? Nonetheless, I'll take it. So 2 members have joined. And does anyone else want to join in? Kevin Kirby, Joshy, BC. Join the club so you can get my fantasy baseball diary, basically, or my fantasy, well, you know, whatever, fantasy or softball diary. And now we got Garver up to the plate, and that's when you know the game is over. Oh, he had to go change cards to renew. God, oh, he had some fraud. Oof. Well, glad you got that fixed. Now we're at 1-1. Ugh. I hope you're okay, William. And I appreciate your contributions to this channel. Now, here's the pitch to Garver. Outside for a ball. Logan Gilbert looks like he's just longing to come back. There's Luis Castillo. And now the pitch to Garver. And that's going to be popped up to right field. And it's only a matter of catching it. And he makes the catch. And that is going to be 1 out. Now here's Cal Raleigh. And that's going to be inside for a ball. And the pitch again. And that's going to be a strike. It's going to be 1-1 for Cal Raleigh. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. And that is going to be strike 2. As we're at 1-2. And the 1-2. Ground ball foul. One, two. Outside for a ball. We're at 2-2. The pitch. Outside for a ball again. 3-2. Now we're at 3-2 for Cal Raleigh. The pitch. And here's a fly ball right field foul. Three and two. And a foul tip. Still going to be 3-2. And the pitch. Now here's a liner to left field, and that's going to be a base hit. But unfortunately, I must say, too little too late, as you got a man on first base. Now we got runner on first. And now here's Randy Arozarena. And now the pitch. Up high for a ball. It's going to be 1-0. And now the pitch. And he literally just stood there. And that's going to be strike 2 or strike 1. And the pitch. And that's going to be strike 2 for Randy Arozarena. And the 1-2. That's going to be outside for a ball. And popped up and fouled. And the pitch. And that's going to be 3-2. And the 3-2. And now here's a liner to left field, and that is going to be a base hit. And we've got runners on first and second. And yeah, to your point, Kevin, I can see where you're coming from on the frustration that the Mariners should have just been kept on fighting rather than just give up after being down just 3 runs. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Oh my God. William, just stop it. Just stop it. The view is always great from the rooftop. Yep. Absolutely no pun intended. And split with the Astros, sweep the crappy Nationals. We're in good shape. No, 3 of 4. And then I'll say we're in good shape. Gotta make a statement on these guys. Gotta show no. Donovan Solano? Really? The fact that you have the announcers laughing about this is very concerning. They're just all loosey-goosey about it. Oh my God, they're just wasting all this time just goofing around, but they're not saying how much they should be criticizing this team for a horrible performance. Where's the accountability? And now the pitch. And that is going to be a strike for Donovan Solano. So basically, the Mariners are pretty much just admitting to losing. They're just giving up by putting in Donovan Solano. The pitch. Here's a ground ball, double play ball. Throw to second, throw to first. In time for the double play. And that's exactly why Donovan Solano should not be on this team anymore. He has got to go. Anyways, it's time to sing the 7th inning stretch. And I think they're going to do the God Bless America. Because I think yep, they're doing the God Bless America. All right. So I will sing God Bless America. All right, let's do this. As soon as they start singing is when I start singing. And look at the flag. If I can find it. Yeah, my flag's back there. And she's going to sing in just a moment, just like I will. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night from the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I think I think that should be. There it is. And now it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. So let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. It's already a shame. They already lost this game. Just end it already. 4, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Oh, no. yeah. Louie. Oh, baby, said we gotta go. A fine little girl, she waiting for me. Catch a ship across the sea and all alone. Yeah, that's it. All right, so William put in $10. Would like to see if anyone else would like to help out and get to my goal of 50. That's what it always is. Don't make me lower the goal. I don't sell myself short. Because Northwest Sports Fanatics, he will never sell himself short. And arguably, he is my main competition. And he's what I deal with. And I'm trying to grind as much as I can. Tomorrow, I should be available for the next game, but Saturday and Sunday I won't be due to don't quit your day job. So you know what? Let's get me to the $50 goal because look, you put in Colin Snyder after you got battered up with Edward Bizzardo and Jesse Hahn. That's just great. Great decision. And now the pitch, and that's going to be inside for a ball. You're moving to Busan. William, it's Busan, not Pusan. Busan. There you go. You're really moving to Busan? And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. It seems to be common these days that a lot of Americans want to leave this country. It's pretty crazy. They don't want to be here anymore. What I've noticed also, we're looking at 2-0. Now the pitch. I've noticed that the ones that voted for Mr. T, it seems that they're moving to more countries like the Philippines, Asia, and like South America. And then the ones that voted for the other one, the she, they're moving to Europe as we're looking at 2-1. And now the pitch. And I can see why. I don't want to explain it too much, but I just happened to notice that. Not trying to get political. I'm just talking about it from an objective standpoint because I will not reveal who I voted for. And now we're looking at 3-1 and the pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 2. That was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. You listen to 710 every morning on the Sock, wondering why Donovan Solano is still in the active roster. There's no reason to put him there. Like, there's Tyler Locklear. What are they waiting for? And now we're at 3-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Not like those countries are much better. I know, but I guess people have circumstantial situations. I know. America is supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave, and military protection. And we're at 3-2. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that is going to be 1 out. I just happen to notice the trends. Yeah, call up Ford and Locklear or Young. The concern I have, though, as much as I'm completely on your side to give, that's the thing. We're locked into these big contracts, but that's the other thing. You're not willing to eat these contracts to pay them not to play. Like Mitch Garver doesn't really have a role here anymore. Donovan Solano obviously doesn't have a role here anymore. His only role is just giving away outs, the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. Mauricio Dubon is now up to the plate. Now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up. That should be playable. It is playable. Who's going to catch it? Solano makes the catch, and that's probably his only highlight of this game. Yeah, Donovan Solano's got to be off of this. Now here's Jeremy Pena up to the plate. Now the pitch. That's going to be popped up, and this time it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. And how about that? Maybe you should just could put in Colin Snyder a little bit earlier instead of Eduardo Bizzardo. I think it's because they don't want to call them up and not expect them to play, not play them every day, except maybe Young. But Locklear, and for wouldn't be playing every day. Yeah, and Ford. I think he meant Ford. Kevin Kirby, now that you're here, I'm going to go back to my all-star baseball game. Got to a point that, man, this game was so frustrating. I forgot to play all-star baseball. Now I have Jeff Facero on the mound. Moises Alou. Yeah, I played MLB The Show, but it's just not for me. I would only play the My Player mode, basically. Oh, Ken Caminetti. Rest in peace, man, sir. I think I have David Bell up right now. There's Alex Rodriguez up to the plate. Technically the N64. And we are back from the break. And I wonder what happened to my scoreboard. Now we got Leody Taveras up to the plate. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. 0-1 the count on Leody Taveras. And the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field, more like a pop-up. And he makes the catch. And that's going to be 1 out. Top of the 8th inning. Now here's Dylan Moore up to the plate. And a pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And that is going to be a man on first base. Now we got Leo Rivas up to the plate. Mariners are at least getting men on base, but the thing is, it's kind of just too little too late at this point. What more can the Mariners really do when you're down 9-2? The likeliness of making that comeback is pretty unlikely. And the pitch to Leo Rivas, and that is up high for a ball. I mean, looking at the probabilities, it's a 99.7 chance that they're going to win. Yeah, they just can't cash them in. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. I went to a game in April. I'm looking to go on Thursday, possibly. If it can't get any worse, try a new guy. Unless it's the next Olerud's walking through the door. Yeah, except Olerud, he's a rare kind. Now we're at 2-0. And the pitcher gets his foot off the bag. Now the 2-0. And that's going to be a strike. Pacers came back down 14. My God, that's insane. Now we're at a 2-1 for Leo Rivas. Now the pitch. That's going to be low for a ball. 3-1 for Rivas. We're at 3-1 for Rivas. And the pitch. And that is going to be ball 4. Take your base. Now you got runners on first and second with one out, though. So you're still in danger of the double play. And now that's going to be Ben Williamson up to the plate. And now here's Ben Williamson. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a fly ball right field, more like a pop-up. Running as the right fielder. And he makes the catch. And that's going to be 2 outs. Ben Williamson on the first pitch, he tried. Just did not happen. Now it's time for me to plug in my tablet because it's at 15% battery. And now up to the plate is J.P. Crawford. Crawford is batting .264 with 4 home runs and 19 RBIs. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. As now we're at 0-1 for JP. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. We're at 0-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And now, yep, the game's pretty much flying away. Kind of getting bored of playing my all-star baseball game. I mean, I'm not in a good mood because of this game. Well, here we go. Alex Rodriguez up to the plate for me. See what he can do. And I struck out with A-Rod. Ken Griffey Jr. gave me a grand slam home run. Nope. And a swing and a miss. And Jay Buhner hits a home run.
It's in the gap. He's going for 2. He's out at second.
And I got out. Looks like we are back from the break. Now here's Gabe Spire, and it's kind of funny. Wait, this makes absolutely no sense. Why are you putting all your high leverage guys in place of your low leverage when you could have done it literally the other way around? I have no idea, but this was a mismanaged game by Dan Wilson. And now the pitch. Now here's popped up. And that should be that's fouled. There's 1-1 and the pitch. And that is a strike. Now we're at 1-2 for Paredes. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and still foul. We're at 1-2 for Gabe Spire. Or sorry, for Paredes. And the pitch. And low for a ball. Yeah, Dan Wilson, he seems just as bad as Scott Service. And Scott Service was really bad too. But Dan Wilson's not doing that much better. He still manages his bullpen terribly. And I kind of want to make a video, quick shorts video, criticizing Dan Wilson. And we're at 2-2, and now the pitch. That's a foul ball. That just shows how much confidence Dan Wilson does not have on his offense. And someone is kind of shaken up. Wonder who that is. Someone's hurt.
We think it's Brian Wu.
Brian Wu got hurt?
It is Brian Wu.
It is Brian Wu.
That did not look great.
And now the pitch. Ground ball, and that's going to be fielded by Williamson. Throw to first, and that's going to be in time. But now I want to know what's going on with Brian Wu. They have no idea what's going on right now. It's like Brian Wu seems to be okay. Oh, he's limping. I wonder if that's how that's gonna affect the starting rotation. Now the pitch. It's gonna be popped up, and Solano's gonna be there. And he makes the catch.
To wrap up the point is they're going to tend to him a little bit here. Now, this is a genuine question I don't know the answer to. I know that there is a reason for it. It's well thought through in the dugout by the Mariners, but you use Fire here in the 8th inning as opposed to having Snyder for 2 innings after just 10 pitches to the first frame that he threw. And so you're kind of spreading it out a little bit. Snyder had the last 2 days off. Maybe it's a situation where you don't want to put him in a position where maybe that, in this case, the 8th inning starts to get out of hand, and now a 10-pitch night turns into a 30-pitch night, and now you do lose him tomorrow, right? Now maybe that's probably part of the calculus of the whole thing.
Now the pitch. It's going to be popped up again, and that's going to be out of play.
He had yesterday off, right? Then he would work in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, you want Spar to have a clean inning too. Like, I know it's not a situation where it's a high leverage, your heart rate's up, 1-run game, but a situation like this, you try and get that adrenaline cranking even though you're down by 7. You don't want a situation throwing a boatload of pitches.
Now we're the 1-1. Now here's a line drive, and that's going to be a base hit. And if this inning cannot end any quicker, then that's how much you're going to be wasting Gabe Spire out of it. Now he's probably not going to be available tomorrow.
challenge yourself that it's a close game, it's a one-run game.
I think Jay Buhner's basically saying that. I think Jay Buhner's basically saying that they should have put in the more high leverage bullpen pitchers, not Eduardo Bizardo. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Yeah, I hear you, Jay Shryden. That's what I'm very concerned too. If we lose Wu because of a foul ball hitting him, oh, Josh, get out of here, man. As we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike 2. He got hit by a foul ball, and he got hit right in the knee. That's what it was. It looks like Wu is walking his own power. The 0-2 popped up, and that should do it for this inning. Leo Rivas is there, and he makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Last try for the Mariners, but talk about a 7-run deficit. And I'm probably going to shut off my All-Star Baseball game as well, because it's the last inning. Goldie did make a good point. Astros have 0 lefties, so may not need Spire as much this series. Not that I like using him in here regardless. Yeah. I don't know. This game really put me in the mood so much that I'm going to walk for a very long time tonight. This game made me really upset. Just really did. If anyone wants to look at some Mexican food, here it is. Oh, yeah. Is there a chance that he's back in the series? Let's look at Yordan Alvarez's ETA. It's supposed to be today, or it's supposed to be tomorrow. So I guess he could be activated at any time, as they say. Wonder how my WNBA team is doing. And we are back from the break. Now here's Mitch Garver up to the plate. That's going to be outside for a ball. Now the pitch. Outside for a ball. Now the 2-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Now we're at 2-1. And now here's a liner to left field, and that is going to be a base hit as Mitch Garver gets on base for a walk or for a single. And now the pitch. That's going to be up high for a ball. Now Dumper is up to the plate. And the pitch. Low for a ball. And that's going to be a 2-0 count on Cal Raleigh. At this point, I just would like to see some kind of a home run, just like have a soundbite. Now we're at 2-0. Now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Maybe for the Mariners' sake, he can take 3 days off. I don't know. I don't think it works that way, Jay Trident. Now the 2-1. That's going to be a foul ball. Yeah, my Mariners on All-Star Baseball won 16-2. If only I can trade in 8 of those runs. If not, I'll trade all of them because I'll make up for it anyway. Too bad it doesn't work that way. As we're at 2-2 for Cal Raleigh. And now the pitch. Outside for a ball, 3-2. The craziest part of this game is, what if the Mariners made this huge comeback and won the game? But the chances of doing that, you're probably more likely to get struck by lightning. You have a 0.03 chance. What are the odds of getting struck by a lightning? 1 in a 15,000. So you're more this and the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And now that's going to be 1 out. And next you have Randy Arozarena, but I don't think he's going to amount to much. Alexa, turn on the lights.
Okay.
So the Mariners are actually more likely to make the comeback rather than you getting struck by lightning. So technically, there is a chance. Now the pitch to Arozarena, and that's going to be in there for a strike. So I will be back tomorrow. And Jay Trident, if you can join this game tomorrow, let me know. And if not Jay Trident, Josh, you let me know. As we're at 0-1, and that is going to be outside for a ball. And before this game ends, I just want to say how much I appreciated the engagement and also gained 2 members, more like a regain of one of them. And I got $10 from William Cook, and I shout out to you for your contributions. Anyone else would like to contribute to give me the goal of 50 and also would really like to push for 50 or maybe even 90 to make up for today, because I will be missing the last 2 Astros games due to don't quit your day job. Now 1-2, the pitch, low for a ball, and that's 2-2. Altuve had a slump for most of this month, and then he just happens to turn it up on the Mariners. And now the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That was literally right down the middle. And that was a pretty lazy swing by Randy Arozarena, who just went on the one-handed. So, yeah, of course that didn't work.
There's a lot of times, but these guys
Now here's Donovan Solano, and you might as well just guarantee that there's going to be an out. And now here's a fly ball to right center field, and that's going to be caught by Cam Smith, and the ball game is over. The Mariners will lose this game as the Astros take game 1 of this 4-game series, as the Mariners had a 2-0 lead. George Kirby was looking okay, and then all of a sudden it just fell apart, and then next thing you know, it turned into a 9-2 massacre. And I think I might stay on just for a little bit longer just to see what they're going to say about Julio Rodriguez and see where he's at. And if he's out, I would imagine that's where you call up Cole Young or Harry Ford, any of those likes. Jay Trident Podcast. I'm going to try to do a member stream if we can get our stream back. We can try the members video tomorrow if we can. Let's see if we can. I think tomorrow. Let's do tomorrow. I think let's do tomorrow so we can wait out on the whole member stream controversy problems. So let's just do that. Let's do tomorrow. But right now, I'm just waiting on the update of Julio Rodriguez before I sign off. If there is anything of kind of update, I don't know. Brett Michaels going to Emerald Queen Casino in Puyallup. Kind of intrigued by that, to be honest with you.
Walk on up, Buttercup.
However you say it, it's perfect. Together, we get
Still waiting on to see what's the update on Julio Rodriguez.
You know, like stadiums do. Kids are so expensive these days.
Oasis Breeze 10 and Star. Or we can look at some investment options.
sports trucks. The right money moves aren't as absurd as you think.
Yeah, exactly. Next week you'll come in for a game. I'm looking at the Wednesday game. That's my favorite to do. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. I won't be able to do Thursday because I'm going to be at the game more than likely. And there's also an option for Friday, May 30th. So I guess we'll see. But now I just want to see what Julio Rodriguez's update is. I guess there's no updates on Julio Rodriguez yet as of now. No update on Julio thus far.
Still a very good record on the road. Actually, in George Kirby's season opener, they were leading 2-0. We'll take a look at what happened and how the Astros took this one from Kirby and the Mariners. We get things going. And George Kirby. Really good to see him. Good to see him. Good to be low. Good to see him. We'll get into that fourth inning a little bit. And he did.
Still waiting to see what the update is. George Kirby did not have a good line today.
We'll hopefully hear from George again, making his 2025 season debut for the Mariners. Not exactly what he wanted, but you know, if he comes out healthy and control, and here's kind of what happened in that first inning.
Still wondering what happened to Julio Rodriguez. Is he coming back?
And then top of two, Gilmore. Like this. That is a center field, well over 400 feet. His 8th home run. The Mariners up 2-0, and they were cruising at this point. George getting through the first couple of innings unscathed. First inning, I should say. We go to the bottom of the second. A little bit of traffic. The bottom of the third, excuse me. A little bit of traffic in there. He gives up a run or two, and then we go to the fourth inning, and Dubon has an RBI single. This is really a big inning for Houston. They take the lead on that single, so it's 3-2 at this point. I mean, Jeremy Pena, who's been leading off and playing very.
I guess there's not really much updates, so I think I'm going to take off. We're all going to find out anyway through Twitter X anyway. So everyone, just want to say thank you for being part of this. Teresa, William, thank you for joining. William, thank you for rejoining and the $10. I'm going to take off, and I will update if I'll be back tomorrow, which is a very good chance. And everyone have a fantastic night. And painfully saying, go Mariners.